Hello, how are you? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be discussing about the core competencies in the competency-based curriculum. As the name suggests, competency-based curriculum or CBC, it's about competencies. That means a lot of emphasis has been placed on the competencies, and it is now upon us as facilitators, it is upon us as parents to understand how do we impart these competencies to the learners so that the learning outcomes are achieved at the end of each learning area, at the end of each substrand, or at the end of a given strand. And it is very much possible to impart a given competence in a learning area or in a substrand. For instance, you can impart more than one, and it's also possible to impart all the 7 competencies in a particular substrand. So the only important thing that you must understand as a parent is get to have an understanding of these competencies. What are they about? What do they talk about? And how do I impart these competencies to the learner or to my child if it's a parent? These competencies are very crucial in the learning process of a child, and we must put all measures in place to ensure that the learning outcome is achieved. And when I say the learning outcome, remember, at the end of a substrand, a child must acquire a given competence. So to start off, I'll talk of communication and collaboration. And communication simply means passing and receiving of information from one person to the other. Collaboration is about working together, teamwork. So then, as a facilitator or as a parent, how do you ensure this happens? For parents, you have to ensure you are role modeling the right behavior, you are role modeling the right communication that you need your child to adapt at home. For teachers, a lot of creativity needs to come in. We have to think outside the box to ensure how does this communication come about. Communication is not just about simple question and answer session. For children to communicate and communicate effectively, you have to give them activities that will ensure they communicate with ease and they are able to pass the information that they want to pass. This is best achieved if you put these children in a group or you put them in group work. You can also do pair work. Even individually, they can still communicate. And in group work, I love group work because there's a lot of communication going on. There's a lot of responsibility as a value that will also come out from there. And as a facilitator, make sure you communicate the rules to learners before they embark on any group activity. Number one, let them be aware that they will have various opinions, various ideas from each group member, and they have to respect these ideas. They also have to learn to take turns. That calls for patience. So give them clear instructions before they get into groups so that none of the learners feels that they are being hurt or they feel like they are less important. Let them understand that everyone's opinion is important and everyone counts in the group and all of them need to participate. Collaboration is about teamwork. Maybe you have given them a task to do. They need to take turns, they need to come up with ideas, and they need to learn to the art of communicating effectively. That is, they pass information without any contradictions, and they ensure the information is passed as they intended it to be passed to the other. At home, I said, parents, you have to be very good role models. Choose your language with a lot of wisdom. Choose your language bearing in mind that whatever language you use, whatever choice of words you use, these learners are imitating. These learners will use the same words outside. So at home and at school, ensure the communication is done and responsible communication, no vulgar language. They need to be courteous in their words and they need to be also patient because all people cannot communicate at the same time. So that is it about communication and collaboration. Next, I'll talk about critical thinking and problem solving. Critical thinking is simply making the children to think in a broader way, and problem solving, just as it says, is just coming up with solutions to a particular problem or arising issue. When I say critical thinking, it means you have to put these children, or to expose these children in a situation that will make them think and think deeper. So how then do you do this as a facilitator? That's why we have the key inquiry questions. The key inquiry questions are supposed to make the learners to think deep, and as they're thinking and giving you answers, you use those answers to come up with another question that will make them even think deeper. In other words, I'm saying the open-ended questions are more likely to help you achieve critical thinking as a competence in a learner than the close-ended questions. So make these children think, let them come up with real life solutions to the real life problems that they face every other day. I also want to talk about creativity and imagination as a competence. Creativity and imagination is a competence that is very easy to achieve because it can be applied like in all the learning areas, in all the strands. Whatever you are teaching, make sure the learners put it down maybe in various ways. They can do drama, they can do role playing, they can do singing, they can do artwork basing on a particular topic. For instance, I can talk of let's talk of a topic like a strand or a substrand, like we say the birth of Jesus. So this is now in the religious activities. Children have learnt about the birth of Jesus. Now tell them after the discussion, put them in groups, let them decide who is going to be Joseph, who is going to be the mother of Jesus, and don't tell them what to act. Let them think in their different groups. So you will find they'll assign themselves roles. They will present according to their understanding of the topic. And as they're doing this, we'll find for you now, this is now where we are able to identify and nurture talents. There are those who will do exceedingly well. They were not guided by anyone, but then they decided, if I am going to be the mother, maybe I should dress like this. And there's another one who just acted as the mother, but did not put a lot of effort into bringing out that character of a mother. So during imagination and creativity, we are able to identify talents and we are able to nurture them. From there, now the same thing, the same substrand, they have role played. They can now put it down in drawing. They draw the Jesus family, father, mother, and baby Jesus there. After that, ask them to compose a song basing on what they have done. So you see, imagination and creativity is a competence that plays a very key role when it comes to identification of talents and nurturing of talents. So parents, you can also do this, and immediately you identify the talents in your child, work hand in hand with the school or with the teachers to nurture this talent, because the moment they do exceedingly well, that is an indication that there is something in them that needs to be nurtured. Another competence that I am discussing is digital literacy, which is using digital or technological devices to come up with, to access information. Now, still I'll base on the same substrand, the birth of Jesus. After they have done that, you can ask them now to use their laptops, to use their tablets, to use their iPads, their smartphones, and search out or look for a video that talks about the birth of Jesus. Digital literacy is something that I would wish parents get to understand this competence. For instance, there are parents who've been saying now it's like they're doing work instead of the children doing work. So if you are one of the parents who is saying, with the competency-based curriculum, I find myself doing a lot of work that the child should be doing or the teacher should be doing, it means there is something that you have not understood. Remember, when we say children should print and download information, we expect you as a parent, when you're at home, to facilitate these. Take them to the printer, take them, if it's in a cyber cafe, for them to find out how the process is done. During the first experience, they will have to do it. You will have to do it, rather. After that one, let them learn the process. Let them learn the process, because we want them to acquire the skill of using the digital devices. So the first one can be done by you, the parent, and you don't do it quietly. You do it as you talk to your child. Explain. This is the printer. You have to press here. After you have found your video, you press here. Then it will print from here. Then take a copy of what has been printed. Then let them also do the same under your guidance. I'm sure the second and other coming assessments or assignments, they'll be able to do it with ease. But now when you keep doing it, this child is not acquiring the intended skill that he or she is supposed to acquire, which is being able to look for information from the digital devices. Another thing, or another competence that I am talking about, is self-efficacy, which can also be self-esteem. So self-efficacy is the confidence in oneself, the belief in oneself to perform a given task. Self-efficacy, I believe, is determined highly by the parents, the guardians, and the teachers, because children need motivation. You need to motivate them to do a particular task, and the motivation is what brings about the self-efficacy or the self-esteem. So how then do you do this? You have to learn to appreciate all the little efforts that the children are doing. Learn to appreciate them. Don't use words that will hurt the child and kill the confidence in them. When they try out something, for example, drawing, not all children can draw. But whatever effort they've put in, tell them, wow, this is so nice. If there is a correction to be done, also choose your words wisely. Yeah, tell them this is right, but here you missed this particular step. You should have done it this way. Then let them do correction. You see, the child did not get it wrong, but the way you are communicating it to him does not hurt him, and it will also give him more interest to continue learning or to continue with the task. In class, during presentations, we encourage that each child has a chance to do a presentation, so that we nurture this self-efficacy in them. Don't just go with the ones who are outspoken and pick them to be doing presentations always. Give each learner the chance and then nurture them. Even the ones who feel like they can't do it, encourage them. Let them come there with the project they have done. If it's a drawing, let them come there, present it, and as they are coming, encourage them as they leave their seats to come and stand before the rest of the class. You could tell them, wow, a bigger one is coming. I have seen it. This is wonderful. Just come and show us. You see, when you do that, the child feels motivated. Even if whatever they have done looks minimal compared to maybe the best that has been done, they feel encouraged. You tell them, you know what? This is the best I have ever seen. The only thing you didn't do is A, B, C, D. Do you know that child will leave there very motivated and ready to improve on the weaker areas? So self-efficacy is a competence that is highly determined by the parents, highly determined by the people around the child. What words are you using? How motivating are you? Are you motivating the child, or are you killing the spirit? And never ever compare a child's work. For example, you take the worst and compare with the best. With your own ill motives, you stand there and say, this one scored 100 and this one got 2. Do you expect the one who got 2 to even look forward to coming to school the next day? So be careful as you nurture this competence of self-efficacy. Another competence is learning to learn. Learning to learn is about being curious to learn every day. So in other words, children are supposed to be curious, and then the question is, who arouses curiosity in these learners? Yes, who arouses curiosity in these learners? You have to arouse curiosity in them by being very creative as the facilitator. Always come up with interesting things. Remember, children learn in an interesting environment with things they can relate to, things they enjoy doing. So whatever learning area you have, whatever substrand you're dealing with, ensure you come up with exciting things that will make these children curious. And the moment they're curious, they'll always be looking forward to coming to school and learn. So this one, the facilitators also, you play a lot of role in nurturing this competence in the learners. And lastly, I'll talk about citizenship. Citizenship is basically the rights and privileges or duties of every citizen. So this now, for this to come out, as you are instilling this, it goes hand in hand with the value of patriotism. They have to understand who they are. They have to be proud of their country. And for this citizenship to come out, before they get to the understanding of the country, that is, if you're dealing with the younger learners, it has to start with their love for their class, their love for their school, their love for the families. They have to feel proud of belonging to their families, because it is the family that builds the country. It is the family that builds the nation, and that translates into citizenship. So from the family, now they come to school. They have to appreciate school. So what does this mean? As parents, avoid talking ill of the school where your child goes in their presence, because it will make them lose interest in that school, and then they start despising it. Even if you have issues, you have to find out how do you do it. But no, don't speak negative things about a particular maybe shop, a particular school. If it's in your house, don't speak badly about maybe the house help in the presence of your child, because we are talking about responsible citizenship. If you have a problem with something, find a reasonable way and a fair way of dealing with it, without letting the child get some negative aspects from it that he or she is not supposed to get from that particular talk that you're having at that moment. So that's it about the competencies. And these competencies are very easy to impart on learners. The only thing you need to do as facilitators is get to understand the meaning of each competence, be very creative, and come up with very interesting and exciting ideas. And I can tell you for free that it is very possible to have all the 7 competencies in a particular strand. So that is it for today. Watch out. Next, I will be talking about the pertinent and contemporary issues in the competency-based curriculum. Remember to subscribe. Thank you.